Would you be surprised to learn that there are four Planet of the Apes movies in this latest reboot? Would you also be surprised to learn that the fourth one's actually pretty good? Let's talk about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watcher Pass, and I'm here to talk to you about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which is coming to theaters on May 10th, 2024. Like I said, it's the fourth movie in the Planet of the Apes reboot series, which started with, hold on, Rise of the Planet of the Apes in 2011, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes in 2014, War for the Planet of the Apes in 2017, and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes in 2014. Now, if you haven't seen the other ones, don't worry, I didn't either. I think I've only seen Rise of the Planet of the Apes. You don't have to see it to see this movie. It is actually a fairly decent one, much better than I expected to be. My hot take is I think you should watch it. I was kind of between a watch it or a watch later, but on balance, I actually enjoyed this a lot more than I expected to. Look, I'm as surprised as you are to say that it is a watch, but this film is way better than I expected it to be. It has a really solid cast of characters, an interesting story with some interesting messages, some striking CG, and some pretty clever writing. So overall, I enjoyed this movie. It's a little bit long. I will say it's a long movie, but it only drags a little bit and it has a really good kind of conclusion sequence. So you forget about how long it is when you get to that part. So overall, I think you should probably check it out. Oh, and also for kids, if you're thinking, oh, I should take my kids to this, it might be fine depending on your appetite for violence. I mean, this movie has a little tiny bit of language, nothing too bad, but there is some violence. It's not gratuitous, it's not overt, but there are some beatings that happens. There are some uh like brutal moments, not in terribly like not super gory, but fairly brutal beatings. And there's a couple deaths. So it's up to you. It's not too bad, but there is some content that might be questionable for kids. But I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the film, a few things I liked, a few things I didn't like, and then try to quickly go into the ending. I mean, it's a 2.5 hour movie. I'm going to try to speed through it, but we will see what I can do. As you would imagine, there will be spoilers in the ending section. If you don't want to know what happened in this movie, I would turn it off when I get to the ending section. Before that, though, I'll keep it vague. I'll keep it spoiler free. I'll let you know when I get to those spoilers. So, in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, you might not remember what happened in any of the movies, and you don't have to. There's a really brief synopsis at the start of the movie, reminding you of what happened, about how there was this virus. It made apes smarter, able to talk, able to kind of work together, but it also affected humans and kind of like degraded them. So while the apes became smarter, humans became not as smart, and now the apes are kind of like controlling the planet. But they're not at our level yet. They are still fairly primitive, but they are learning, they are building societies, things like that. And in this backdrop, you have a tribe of apes who have learned to like live with eagles, and they kind of commune with eagles. They raise these eagles from a very young age, so they're bonded to these eagles, and they kind of have a symbiotic relationship. Well, all that changes when some more aggressive apes get nearby. That changes the course of this tribe, and specifically Noah, one of the young apes in this tribe. What happens, and does he form a kingdom? Well, you have to watch the movie to find out. So things I liked about this movie. The first, I liked the writing. I thought it was pretty clever. The way it described like the past and kind of a recollection of history. Like these apes don't have a written language. They don't have like the internet. They don't have ways to research things. So when they're talking about the time before the apes became smart, before the apes were able to talk, it's really fun to hear like how they describe like humans and how they describe like how humans and apes live together. It seems weird, but humans and apes were coexisting in like a and not the way that it actually is, but the way that, intelligent apes might think the life was before, but they don't have any reference materials. They don't have books. They don't have anything to learn. So it's fun to hear like they're like spoken oral history and the way that these stories can change based on like who is reading them. I thought it was very clever. I thought it was fun. I really liked kind of like the way that they incorporated that. Second thing I loved, kind of a similar vein to the writing, I love the messages. It has some interesting messages, specifically talking about Caesar, the kind of like first the first ape that kind of like got the apes to rise up. His messages are kind of twisted as time went on to suit certain needs, and you get like a very interesting kind of like religion or dictator type feel to it, where sometimes the messages will be switched to justify certain things that might not be what the original message was, but fits what the person who is using it want. And I really like that. I thought that was kind of an interesting little like side aspect of this whole movie. The third thing I loved, the humor. It's not laugh out loud funny, but along with kind of the writing, there are some very clever moments, especially when they're describing things about like humans and what they used to be able to do and what they do now, and where the apes are in that hierarchy, things like that. There are some very funny, clever moments that will give you a little chuckle, which you need in a 2.5 hour movie. And the last thing I love the effects. It is a CG marvel. It is a lot of CG. Like it is basically like Avatar cross The Last of Us in terms of like what you see. But it is very good CG. It is not super distracting. And after a while, you get used to it. And the apes become like characters in their own right. They have expressions, they have emotions, things like that. And it is really well rendered, really well kind of modeled for this movie. So all that being said, things I didn't love as much. The first is a really long intro. I mean, you kind of need that. If you're like me, you forgot everything about the Planet of the Apes movies. You need that long intro to really kind of establish what happened and also to like learn about this new tribe of apes that we get. But it really is like a 45-minute intro. It's almost like half a regular movie. So just bear with it. It's not bad, but it takes a very long time. The second thing I didn't love as much, it's a long movie. It's 2.5 hours. Like I said, it drags a little bit in the middle, but the start is pretty strong. The end is very strong. And so you kind of forget about that by the end. So it is long. I enjoyed it throughout, but it is a long experience. And the last thing I didn't love as much, this is a minor point. There's not a ton of variety. And I guess that is probably kind of what happens if you have a world where all of a sudden nature is allowed to like grow up and like take over. A lot of the scenery looks very similar. You don't get a ton of variety in the locales. There's a little bit of variety, but for the most part, it is lush forest kind of scenery throughout. So just keep that in mind. So all that being said, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes comes to theaters on May 10th, 2024. Surprisingly, I think you should watch it. I enjoyed this a lot more than I expected to. So if you do check it out, let me know what you thought. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I would love to hear it. So Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It starts with the kind of thread that binds us to the other Planet of the Apes movies. It starts with Caesar's funeral. Caesar has a funeral. He's on this like burial pyre. It lights up. You kind of get that Caesar look. You get that Caesar cameo. That is how this movie starts. And it's important because Caesar's memory is used in this movie. So you kind of had to see that reverent moment. Then you get introduced to Noah and I guess the Eagle clan or the Eagle tribe. Now, Noah's entire group of apes, they have learned to coexist with eagles. They get them from their eggs, they raise them as their own, and they bond with eagles. Like each of the apes is bonded with an eagle. And those eagles help, these apes in like a very symbiotic relationship. The eagles go and get fish. They help out in that way. So these apes all kind of live off of fish. And the apes, give the eagles shelter. They give them companionship. They take care of them. It is a very kind of lovely society. And in this, you have Noah, who is the son of the like chief of the Eagle clan. The chief of the Eagle clan, I guess he kind of like takes care of the eagles. He makes sure that everything is good, and he also sings to them, so he can like sing to them to kind of communicate lightly with them. And he has specifically his own eagle that he sings to, who really likes him because they are bonded. It is almost like his first child. And then he has his actual child, Noah, which that eagle doesn't actually like. It's really funny when he comes up he comes up to say hi to his dad, and that eagle just like pecks at his face. So that is what Noah has. Noah's dealing with the kind of like the weight of being the son of the chief and like having to carry that mantle. But he doesn't do it alone. He has friends, Soona and Anaya. They are all friends, and they are all about to do their bonding ceremony, where they have to go and like get an eagle egg, and then that is going to be the egg that they are bonded to, that they raise to then become their own eagles at some point. Now, everything seems to be going well. While they're getting their eggs for the bonding ceremony, something takes their blanket, and you don't really know what it is, but it sounds like maybe it was a human. And in this world, remember, like the apes are smart. Humans are kind of like roving tribes of, non-speaking entities. They're essentially animals in this world. They like you don't see many of them, but they apparently travel in packs. They're kind of like, just livestock essentially. They don't really contribute much. And so it's a little surprising that this human would steal this blanket, but they just kind of like shoo it away. You don't actually see the human, but Soona like throws a rock at the human. It hits her, and she runs away and leaves the blanket. And they basically just like say good riddance, get the blanket, and come back. But later, that human shows up again. She breaks into the tribe's fish store, I think, to steal some food. And Noah randomly sees her. She, pushes him down, runs away, and that is like the second encounter. Now, Noah's upset because when she pushed him, she broke his egg, and so he has to go out the night before his bonding ceremony to get a new egg. But while he's doing this, a group of other apes attack his village. They are like masked apes. They are very violent. They're technologically advanced. Like they all ride horses, which, the other apes have horses too, but this is like a raiding party. They all have horses, and they have these like staffs that have like shockers at the end, essentially like cattle prods that they use to fight. And so this is like technologically advanced, much more advanced than what the Eagle Clan has. And so these apes are able to quickly take down the Eagle Clan, set the village on fire, capture all of the Eagle Clan apes, and take them. Or during this, Noah fights with an ape named Sylva. He is like this big, powerful ape that is essentially kind of the leader of this raiding party. So when Noah is helping his father free all the eagles, because the village is getting attacked, everything is going up in flames. He wants all the eagles to get out. Sylva goes up there and finds them and starts fighting them. And Noah and his father do a decent job fighting back, but Sylva's just too big and powerful. And so Noah gets knocked off of this tower. He falls down, blacks out. When he wakes up, everyone is gone, and he sees that the village is burned down, all of his friends are gone, and his father is dead. So when he wakes up, he also sees that eagle, his father's eagle, that is, does not like him. He tries to call out to the eagle, tries to get him to come onto his arm, and that eagle just like slashes him and flies away. So they're not friends yet, but Noah has a mission now. He wants to track down his clan, track down the rest of his tribe, and free them and bring them back to this area. So he follows their tracks. And while he's following them, he meets Raka, who is this evolved orangutan who was also attacked by this tribe. He and I think his partner, you can't tell if it's like partner or spouse, they were attacked. Raka was hiding, but his partner was not, and they got killed. And so Raka is burying him or burning him when Noah accidentally crashes into his house. He's like walking and he falls through the roof, essentially. That's how he meets Raka. Now, Raka is a very smart orangutan. He also is a follower of Caesar, like Caesar's actual teachings. Caesar, the like first ape who kind of got the apes to rise up. Raka is part of this group that like is trying to like preserve Caesar's teachings and actually like pass them down. And so one of the things that Noah mentions is that when the other apes were attacking his village, they kept saying things like for Caesar, like they were attacking it for Caesar, they were burning it for Caesar. And Raka's like, that's not what Caesar would say at all. Like Caesar was not about like apes not attacking apes. Caesar was about like coexisting with the humans. And so he has a very different interpretation of what Caesar's teachings were than these aggressive apes were. But Raka teaches Noah about Caesar, teaches him about Caesar's teachings, and Raka also decides to like travel with Noah to help free his tribe. And while they're on their journey, one night they are at the fire, and we see this human who apparently was the one that Noah saw earlier. She's been following them, and she looks like she's hungry. It looks like she's trying to get some food. And so Noah's like, go away, pest, go away. But Raka, who is more compassionate, who is like internalizing the teachings of Caesar, is compassionate to her. He throws her some apples. She starts eating them. And then he sees that she's cold, and he makes Noah give her this like sweater scarf that was his mother's. It was his mother's. His mother got kidnapped. This is like the only thing he has of her. And so he doesn't want to, but Raka's like, come on, like have compassion. She's cold. And so he ends up giving it to her, and it seems like they have like an unsteady alliance here. But remember, like humans aren't super evolved in this world. So this human, she doesn't talk. She just seems to be like, looking at them for food, looking at them for warmth. And so Raka and Noah are talking, and they decide to name this human Nova. Like that's just a word that they've learned from the past. And so they call this human Nova. And they decide to take Nova with them while they continue to track them down, while they continue to track down Noah's tribe. Now, the next day, while they're tracking them down, they find a tribe of humans. And so these humans are very primitive. They're all wearing like furs essentially. They come out and they like start drinking water and seem to be just like essentially a wild, a roving band of animals. And Noah's like, okay, this is great. Nova, you can be with your people. Raka, you stay here to like teach these humans, take care of them. I will go free my tribe. And so Noah's like, okay, I'm gonna keep moving on. But as he's moving on, this tribe gets attacked by the aggressive apes. And it looks like they are looking specifically for Nova. They go through here, they capture the humans or kill them, but they are looking specifically for Nova. And Nova seems to know this because Nova is running and she escapes a little bit and keeps trying to get away. Eventually, she hides in this like field of tall grass, and the rest of the apes are going through trying to find her. They're like slashing at the grass trying to find her, and she is clever. She's moving away. She's checking to make sure that they're not too close, but eventually she sees Noah coming back. He heard the commotion. He came back looking for them, and she sees him at the edge of this grass, and so she stands up and makes a calculated decision and yells Noah, and you're like, she can talk. We didn't know she could talk. Noah hears this, sees her, gallops towards her on the horse. She runs towards him, and as she's running, Sylva is trying to catch her as well. Like Sylva was looking for her. Sylva's trying to catch her. Noah gets to her first, gets her on the horse. Sylva tries to grab the horse, but Noah kicks him off, and they keep moving. And eventually, they meet up with Raka, who was separated during this whole commotion. He got separated during the fight, but he survived, and they all continue on their journey. Now, Noah gets to tell Raka this amazing revelation that Nova can talk. And this is when Nova decides to let forth that she can fully talk. Like she tells them her name is May. She tells them that she was part of a tribe of humans who got attacked by those apes. They were all killed. May was the only one that survived. And she doesn't specifically tell them what she's looking for, but they continue on their journey. Now, they keep following the tracks, and eventually they get to a bridge. And they go across the bridge, and of course, it's a trap. As they're going across the bridge, at the other side is Sylva. And so they try to turn away, but no, there's other apes there too. They get into a fight. Raka gets like pushed off the bridge. He's holding on to this net as the current is pulling him away, and Sylva goes up and cuts the net with a knife. Raka gets pulled away by the current, so Raka seems to be dead. Now, Noah and May are captured and are taken to this camp. What is this camp? Well, this camp is it's on a beach. There is a dam that is holding the beach water away, and there is this large vault door. And this camp is controlled by this charismatic but very powerful ape called Proximus Caesar, who is the one that is trying to use Caesar's teachings for his own purposes. He is trying to build an alliance of apes. He keeps saying like, apes need to unify, they need to like work together, but he means work together to help him get his goals. So he's using Caesar's teachings to try to like get these apes to do what he wants and to kind of like capture these apes, bring them to his kingdom with the idea that he is building a unified kingdom, even though he is just basically kidnapping them, taking them to his like base and making them work for him. Now, what does he want? He wants these apes to all work to open this vault. There's a big steel vault door, and he's trying to open it. He's using chains, he's using like fire, trying to open this thing. And they have this big ceremony where they try to open it up. He's very charismatic. He's like, let's go, let's go. And they fail. And you can tell that he is visibly upset. But he hides it and he says, well, we'll see tomorrow. We'll see what we can do tomorrow. But when Noah gets here, he is reunited with his clan, with the Eagle clan. They're all here. But May is separated. May is taken somewhere else. And May is taken to meet this other human named Trevathan, who was played by William H. Macy, who is like May. He can speak. He has a knowledge of history. He can read. He seems very knowledgeable, but he is working for Proximus. Now, why is he working for Proximus? Well, he got injured horribly, so he really couldn't go anywhere. And so Proximus captured him, realized that Trevathan was useful, and so Trevathan is helping Proximus, and Proximus is rewarding him by like giving him essentially a life here, a comfortable life. So Trevathan tries to convince May to help out, but May is like, no, like, why would you help them? Like they're essentially, he's like, they're the enemy. Trevathan is just thinking of survival. May seems to have some other purpose in mind. Now, Proximus also takes an interest in Noah. He invites Noah to a dinner that has both him, Trevathan, and May there. And he tells Noah that, Noah's a very clever ape. He can use clever apes. Noah was able to repair one of the like shock staves that Proximus's soldiers use. Noah was able to repair it, which I don't think other people could do. That's why he has Trevathan there. Trevathan is the one that I think repairs his weapons and things like that. And so he thinks that Noah could be very useful. And Proximus also tries to plant the seeds in Noah that you can't trust humans, that they are going to backstab you, they're going to turn against you, things like that. Now, Proximus seems to think that May knows how to get into the vault, and she tries to get the information out of May. May doesn't budge. She tries to get Noah to tell him, and Noah's like, she didn't tell me anything. Like, I don't know what she said. Is that true? Well, apparently not, because that night May and Noah hatch a plan. They're going to get into the vault to help May out. May needs to get something in there, and Noah's upset because May didn't tell him about all this, but she tells Noah that inside that vault, there's a ton of human secrets, secrets that Proximus can't get because they'll make him too powerful. There's weapons in there, there's things like that. But there's also a book that May needs. Well, it's like a book. She doesn't describe it, but she said it's like a book and it'll help teach the humans to speak. So Noah doesn't really know what to think of this, but he doesn't want Proximus to get into the vault, so he decides to help. And he enlists the help of his friends Anaya and Soona. And that night they all hatch a plan. And this is you suspend a little bit of disbelief here because essentially it's already dark. They hatch their plan, and May seems to have already like gathered all the equipment they need. So part of it is setting up a series of detonators to try to break the dam. Like they want to destroy the inside of the vault with the seawater to prevent Proximus from getting the secret. So they set up like essentially like canisters of gunpowder that May somehow got and had the canisters and had the wiring ready to go to set up a series of charges that will then blow up the dam. She was able to gather this all in like one day and hatch her plan. It's fine. It's a cool idea. Just go with it. Um, Noah, Soona, and Amaya all help her do this, but while they are doing this, Trevathan comes out, and Trevathan's basically like, he's gonna kill you. If he finds out what you're doing, he's gonna skin Noah alive, and he's gonna do worse to you. And May is like, why would you help them? Like, why would you work for them? Like, we are trying to prevent them from getting these secrets. These are not his secrets. And Trevathan just kind of like, acknowledges this and says, good luck, essentially, and starts walking away. And that is when May strikes because Trevathan is walking away. I don't know if he was going to tell Proximus, but May probably seems to think he would because he was already helping Proximus for his own benefit. So May jumps on him and strangles him to death. Like just full on sleeper hold, kills Trevathan. She kills him, throws him in the water. And this is when you get a sense that maybe May has a lot more knowledge. I mean, you get the sense already because she's setting up gunpowder charges and she knows about this vault but now you see that she like kills Trevathan very efficiently. So perhaps May might have a little bit more going on than you would be believed. She throws the body of Trevathan into the ocean, and after they set their charges, they start on the next part of their plan. This involves them going along the vault cliff to a specific spot that May seems to be able to recognize somehow. And then that is when she gets her Eagle Clan friends to climb up. And May is like hanging on to the back of Noah, and they're climbing up. They climb up into the vault. They climb up into this like air vent that is in the side of the mountain, climb through the vent, and now they're in the vault. May is able to start up all the electricity in the vault. Apparently, it all still works somehow. Sure, like my laptop doesn't work after it sits for like 2 days, but this vault has been sitting for I don't know how long, a very long time, still powers up. Sure. Now, once the vault's powered up, May starts looking for what she needs, and she just essentially tells the other apes to like sit still, to hang out. And so they are looking around this vault, and what they find is this like children's book. And Noah is fascinated by this because Raka was telling him that these books have knowledge and that the humans are able to like decipher these symbols and transfer knowledge. Noah can't read, but he's fascinated with books, and he's looking through this children's book, and it's about a kid's day at the zoo. And as he's looking through, you see a bunch of monkeys behind bars in a zoo. And it's like supposed to be a fun children's book, but to these apes, it doesn't look very fun. Now, over to May. May is searching through this vault looking for something, and she finally finds it. She goes up to like this old computer, opens it up, and there's like three hard drives in there. They're different colors, like a yellow, a blue, and a red. May takes the red hard drive and puts it in her bag. And that's specifically what she was looking for. That is the book that she was talking about. But she also sees some guns. Like, oh, this will be interesting. When she sees the apes next, she says it's time to go. She's not strapped. She doesn't have like two AKs on her or anything. So like, okay, the guns was interesting, but all right. They head out, they head to the vault. They're going to open the vault so they can then do the second part of their plan. They open the vault, it opens slowly, and it turns out it's daylight. I guess they took a little bit longer in the vault than they expected. It is full day, and wouldn't you know it, Proximus is there. And he comes in with all of his guards, and he takes like Noah and the other friends captive. May is like pushed to the side, and Proximus is trying to get May to reveal the secrets of the vault. She won't. Proximus is trying to get Noah to reveal the secrets, and he does this by threatening Soona, who Noah has a crush on. And one of the apes has a knife to Soona's throat. And he's telling Noah to like tell him about the secrets of the vault. It's a little bit chaotic, and that is when boom, you hear a gunshot, and you're like, oh, that's where the gun was. You look over at May, and she is holding a revolver straight out. And that is when the guard who was holding Soona kind of like pushes her away and looks down, and there's a little bullet hole in his chest, and some blood starts pouring out of it, and that guard collapses. So, seems like May was able to get a gun, and it seems like the secrets in the vault are now revealed. Proximus is like, hey, May, you can go. That's fine. But are there any more of those weapons in this vault? Because he really wants these weapons to be able to kind of take control and force, his kingdom. And May is like, they're not, I forget what she says, but she says something like, they're not yours to take, or they're not your secret to take. And she runs out. They try to stop her, but they don't get to her in time. She heads to the charges that she set. She puts them together. Some sort of battery electrical volt goes through these wires that you happen to have to all the charges. They blow up. The dam blows up. Water starts pouring in, and it floods the vault. Now, all the apes in there, I don't really know if they can swim. They don't seem like they can swim, or at least the current is strong enough that it's dangerous. And so they all start running. Noah tells all of his eagle friends to like climb because they're really good climbers. So he tells them to all climb up, and chaos ensues. Now, Noah is able to get his clan over to the shaft that they all climbed down when they came into the vault. And he tells them all climb up. And so they all climb up. He's definitely a leader. He's like making sure everyone gets up before he goes. And after the last of his people go up, he turns around, and wouldn't you know it, Sylva's there. Sylva doesn't like Noah. Sylva and Noah fight, and Noah is able to outsmart him by like maneuvering around the base and eventually getting him trapped under some pipes that Noah is able to like wiggle through. So Sylva's trapped under the pipes. Noah gets out, and Sylva eventually drowns as the seawater keeps rising. Noah climbs up that shaft, gets to the top. Seems like everything is fine. His clan's all there. He gets out there, but wouldn't you know it, Proximus is there. Proximus is there. He somehow made it up there and took the clan captive. And he starts beating Noah. He's very unhappy. His vault secrets are all destroyed. Noah tried to undermine him. So he is beating Noah. And this is a really interesting scene because he's like killing Noah. And there's like 50 of the Eagle clan around, and they don't do anything. You're like, yo, like, just start fighting. There's 50 of you. You'll be able to take Proximus. They don't do anything. Proximus is beating Noah. And eventually, it looks like he's about to kill him. And that is when Noah looks up and sees all these eagles flying around. And so he starts singing his like clan song. It's like a low hum followed by a whoop, whoop. And so he starts singing this. The rest of the clan starts singing this. They all get energized by this. And Proximus is like, I don't know what's going on. What are you doing? But as he's singing, his father's eagle comes down and like lands on his hand. So it seems like his father's eagle has now accepted him. And you're like, okay, that's good. But then the other eagles start coming in, and they start attacking Proximus. They like slash him, they go for his eyes, they like cut his body. And so Proximus it's not like killing him, but he is fighting them off. He's trying to fight these eagles off. And they start to like push him towards the edge. Like they're attacking him. He's confused. He's going towards the edge. And eventually Noah pushes his father's eagle out. It hits Proximus right in the chest. Proximus falls over the edge, down, down, down into the water. He falls into the water, so you don't know if he's dead. He's at least not a threat right now, but Just like with Raka earlier, Proximus falls into the water, so they could be in whatever the next Planet of the Apes movie is. But at least that threat is now gone. Noah and his clan go home, and you also see May was able to survive. She got to higher ground during this flood, and she also moves on. Now, Noah takes his tribe home and they rebuild. You see their village a little bit later, and it's, getting there, it's getting rebuilt, and you're like, it looks nice, but where are the walls? Build some walls or something, because they didn't have any defenses last time and they got overrun. They still don't have defenses. We'll see. We'll see if they learn. They apparently didn't learn, but maybe they are just more efficient overall. And one day, May shows up to the village and Noah goes out to see her, and May basically just says, I'm here to say goodbye. And Noah is upset with her because she didn't trust him then. She didn't trust him with the knowledge of what she was doing. And it seems like she was just using Noah. So Noah is like upset with May. And he's specifically upset that she's not going to share what the information was in the vault. She wanted to destroy it. And she was like, that wasn't your knowledge to have. That was human knowledge, human secrets. And I forget the specific wording, but like Noah's like, well, this is our planet now. And May is like, well, it was ours first. And Noah's like, would you ever share it? Like, would you ever coexist with us? And I loved this scene because as they're having this conversation, you it shows May from behind. You can see that May, she's been standing with like her hands, kind of like behind her back, and you can see one of her hands is holding that gun. So she's been holding that gun, not able to trust Noah, even though Noah has been like nothing but a good friend to her. He saved her, he helped her when she needed it. He has been nothing but like nice to her, and she still is holding that gun. She still doesn't trust him. So I love that scene because he's asking, like, can we ever coexist? And you can see May is like, probably not. But this is when Noah shows, his character, and he pulls off the Caesar necklace that he got from Raka. When Raka was teaching about Caesar, Raka gave Noah his Caesar necklace, saying, it's an important lesson, you should learn it. So he pulls that off and gives it to May. I think it's essentially saying, like, he is following in Caesar's teachings. He is, learning to trust the humans, or at least trying to trust the humans, and that May maybe should do the same. So he gives it to May. They make up, but they kind of have like a they don't like fully make up, but he gives it to May. It's a sweet scene, and then May continues on her journey. And now you see where May's going. May follows along and ends up at this like outpost. This outpost that as she's approaching, someone comes out in like a full hazmat suit. Clearly, these humans have some sort of technology. And May gives that person this red hard drive that she got. That person takes it into the base. May doesn't go in with her. It was weird. I figured May would go in with her, but May decides to stay outside. It makes for a better scene later. The person takes that red hard drive into the base. She goes through like a decontamination process and gives the hard drive to someone else who is in like a command center. And in the command center, you see there is like a satellite control computer, and there are two hard drives in there, a yellow and a blue, but no red. They put that red hard drive in, and it activates the satellites. I guess that red hard drive was the decryption key that they needed to activate the satellites. And so the satellites are now active, and they're able to like align them and use them. And so this group does that, and they broadcast out a message saying, hey, can anyone hear me? Can anyone hear me? And like instantly, right after they broadcast it, they get a response back. And it's someone else saying, like, oh my gosh, it's so good to hear someone's voice. Like, we're in Indiana. Like, where are you? And so they were able to communicate. They're able to connect. I don't know where this base is, but there's another set of humans somewhere in Indiana that has at least a similar level of technology. So there are more humans out there. And what I also loved about this is that it shows that May wasn't lying to Noah. She said that what she needed was something that's like a book. Hard drive is kind of like a book. And it, I mean, I guess it stores information like a book. So you could say that it's like a book. And it would allow humans to talk, which it does. When they put that in, it allowed the satellites to communicate, to align and be used to allow the humans to communicate. So I love that May was not like truthful to Noah, but was like, she was truthful to him. She doesn't tell him the whole truth. So I like that scene. Now, what you do see also is that May is outside looking at the satellites as they're arranging, and then she like looks up in the sky because that's where the satellites are going. And at the same time, you see Noah and Soona. They are leaving the village. They're going out for a little rendezvous. And Noah takes Soona to this like observatory that he found. It was an observatory that like had a telescope, and he looks up and he takes Soona there and he looks through the telescope and they're looking up at the stars. He looked earlier and saw it, and so he's taking Soona there so that he can show her. So it shows that Noah is still very curious, still interested in like learning. And it makes me think that maybe this was set in LA because like earlier there was an airport scene that had what looked like LAX's, main that little like I don't know, I think it's a restaurant, but it's a pretty iconic building in LAX. And there's an observatory here, which could be Griffith Observatory. I don't know. It was way too overgrown for me to be LA. Like there was actual trees, which you don't really get in LA, but I don't know. I don't know where it was set, but those two things make me think it could be like an LA equivalent. And it was also near a coast, which LA is near. Anyways, it shows that Noah is trying to learn, still curious, still trying to evolve and learn more. And I love that both May and Noah were both looking up at the sky at the same time. It's like a very American tale, like somewhere out there looking up at the stars type of scene. So I liked that. I like that's how it ends. And that is how this movie ends. You find out that the humans get the information, they're able to like communicate, and you find out that Noah is building and also trying to learn. So that is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. What will be next? I don't know. I mean, I would say that the next movie would be War for the Planet of the Apes, but we already had that movie. That was the third movie. Maybe the next one will be War for the Planet of the Humans. I don't know, but it seems like these humans are going to coordinate more. They're going to try to like connect, I assume, and share knowledge and eventually try to take back at least a part of the world for them. And the apes are still out there and they're growing stronger and growing smarter. So what will happen? I'm not sure, but I'm kind of excited to find out. So that is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It comes to theaters on May 10th, 2024. Like I said, I think you should watch it. And if you do see it, let me know what you thought. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I would love to hear it. And thanks so much for watching. If you like this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.